Okay, all right, good afternoon. We got with the players today and, after watching the tape, just much what I said yesterday. Really, pleased with the guys for the 54 minutes that we played in Detroit. Did a lot of good things, and we certainly showed those in the team meeting today. And I want to commend those guys for the effort that they put out there. And then obviously the last couple series there, offensively and defensively, we got to do a better job of finishing. And we showed the guys that in the unit meetings and took accountability, as players and coaches of how we got to finish better. And that's a big part of the learning process. And we just need to do a good job of really focusing on that, on the individual improvement, on the improvements, and then how to finish those games out the right way. But like I said, we took the ball away, did a nice job with that. We didn't capitalize on the first ones, that we got, but in the second half we did in the third quarter, got 10 points off of those takeaways. So that was really good. And, the guys are just sticking together. They're all in a mode right now where, they got to get their minds, their bodies, and their spirits right to move forward into this next game. Got a big challenge ahead of us in Minnesota. So that's where it is right now. Really don't have any injury updates for you right now. We'll know more. That'll come out, I believe, Thursday because it's a Monday game. But we'll see where those guys that are injured, we'll see where they are, and we'll go from there. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
Matt, the three plays you guys called after Justin had the long run to get into field goal range. Justin has a long run on the third and 14, then you guys run it three times. What's the thought process between just decide to run it three times and not let Justin try to throw for that?
Yeah, we love those plays that we had there, and even the one on third down. We thought we could pop that for the third down, and I think it was 3rd and 7 potentially. Yep, there, and we liked that. He could have had a disconnect on that one, but decided to hand it off. I think the 34 was there waiting for him, but we thought we could pop that one, so that's where it was.
Man, you talked about players and coaches taking responsibility. What is your responsibility, the coaching staff's responsibility in games like this or the Denver game where a late lead goes away shockingly?
Yeah, you got to take responsibility for it's our charge as coaches to put the guys in position, and then it's the players' job to make the plays, and you're always looking at that. That's always a big part of it. And like I said, for almost 56 minutes, we did that. We were putting the guys in position. They were making plays. We owned the time of possession. We took the ball away, gave our guys a short field. We had gave ourselves a big lead, and we got to continue to do that as we go forward. And it's always hand in hand. It's always, like I always say, it's always coach and player, player and coach.
So it's a breakdown of playing and coaching all at once at the end of the game.
Yeah, when it works, it's good coaching and good playing, right? When it doesn't, it's you gotta both accept responsibility for that, and that's called accountability and responsibility to your teammates, and that's what we do.
What specifically should you have handled differently yesterday as the game fell apart?
In what respect?
Your respect, as far as coaching. I mean, you are looking at the film, you're trying to analyze. You want players to watch film and then extract lessons from what went wrong.
Sure.
So from your standpoint, last 4 or 5 minutes, or maybe the fourth quarter at large.
Yeah, I mean
what should you have handled differently?
Yeah, you always look at things. You always look and say, hey, should I call this? Should I call that? Should I be more aggressive here? Less aggressive there. It's like when you have the end of the half at the New Orleans game, right? They went, I think it was 3 and out or maybe 4 and out. That was good execution by the players. It was good calling by the whoever this coordinator was, and that would be me. And then if it was at the end of the game for the Carolina game to seal the deal in the game, there was some good calls and good execution, and that's what it comes down to. You got to have the right calls and put your guys in position. And for the Carolina game, we did that. We went 3 and out right there at the end there. Those last 3 plays, they decided to kick for a field goal. They missed it. And then we sealed the deal on offense with a nice 3rd down and 7, I believe it was, to Mooney. And again, so it's really about that. It's about putting guys in position, and it's about making plays as a player.
So what were the calls then? What specifically though were the calls or choices that you made yesterday that you would do differently if given the chance?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into that because that would be talking to the next opponent. So I would say that you get into certain areas and you get into certain situations. You always look at as a play caller. If you're an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator, you look at and say, hey, what would I do better here, and how would I grow in this moment? And you always have to do that.
By the touchdown to Williams, their second to last touchdown, where Jalen and Eddie were? What did you guys diagnose on kind of what went wrong to let him get behind them?
Okay, you're talking about the 30,
Yeah, 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's just, we just gotta play that deep to short. And we gotta be back, and Kyler's gotta sink back and be underneath the sail, right, and give the flat route away. So we just gotta play deep to short on that, and we gotta do a better job.
Matt, you went for 2 fourth downs early in the game and made them, did not go for the fourth down in the fourth quarter. What was the difference? Did you wish you were more aggressive there in that?
Yeah, I would say that the fourth downs early were good decisions. The 4th and 1 and the 4th and 2, those were both good. And, we got to capitalize on those and turn those both into touchdowns. But I would say that later in the game, where the game was where it was, based on what we've seen to that point, we like our decisions on 4th down, not going for it and kicking those field goals.
Man, what happened to Braxton Jones when he came off the field? What was going on there?
Yeah, so on that one, the officials came over to me and said, hey, because they have the right to do that, or a spotter does, right? So they said, hey, we're going to pull him off. And I said, why? And they said, well, he said he was, dizzy, but then he got evaluated and he came right back in, was clear. So that was where it was.
He was yelling, "I can't see." So what was?
Yeah.
What that was all about?
Yeah, he was evaluated and returned back to us. So
Okay.
that's all I have. That's all I knew. So, but yeah.
The timeout that you took when they had the ball at the goal line.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did that to give your offense a shot.
Yep.
The clock's running there. What's the math there or calculus between deciding to bang the timeout as opposed to seeing what they can do because they didn't have any timeouts left?
Yeah, certainly they had time to run a play, for sure. You're just trying to conserve time, so you have a chance at the end there. And, you could get into a long conversation when to use defensive timeout, so, it gets be here for 4 hours, but that's what we did.
With Justin as a runner, is it sustainable for him to run the ball as frequently as he did yesterday going forward? And was there an element of surprise you were hoping to use, maybe thinking the Lions was sitting there saying, well, maybe he won't run as much as we're used to seeing him?
Yeah, I think that number is, I think 18, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and typically,
Time?
yeah, so I would say that, some of those are disconnects, where he's reading it, and they were crashing pretty hard yesterday, so, some of those are reads by him. And we called a couple more, yesterday, so, again, it should be around, in that range, but you don't want to go be that high all the time, but, again, he's gonna have runs where he scrambles around and does a good job. What I do think he did a good job yesterday was he made connections down the field and had his eyes down the field before he crossed the line.
Like the Moore touchdown?
Yeah, the more touchdown, and then even like the one where it broke down a little bit, and I think it was play 4 where he delivered it to Moore.
Is that the sidearm?
The sidearm?
Yeah, that was a cool play, and then to start the third quarter, there was 1-2 on a side pocket, right, where he scrambled around and threw it on the side there. So those are growth. That's growth, and that's really cool to watch him do that, to be able to keep his protection in the pocket, right, and then be able to look down the field and deliver the ball.
After spending a month with a quarterback who's not quite the runner that Justin is, what was it like to have him back in terms of bringing a different element to your offense?
It was good. Like I said yesterday, he played well. He played well, and it's all about having that continuity now with the receivers and getting them back into the flow. And I thought for his first performance, he did well.
Man, on the touchdown to Jahmyr Gibbs, the first one for Detroit, was there a reason why Dylan Cole's in the game instead of Jack Sanborn?
Yeah, that was rotation. That was because of goal line, because we were rotating our mics, right? Because Tremaine was, obviously ailing all week, and I commend him for coming back. He worked out before the game, and it came back, because he's had that, knee and all those things, and he did a good job. But in goal line, we're rotating the mics, so we just left Dylan out there at the right backer.
And with Montez, he told us after the game that he wants fresh bodies out there, so there's gonna be times that he might sub himself out.
Yep.
When you looked at his play count, you looked at the final drive, is that what you would have wanted, or is he the type of guy that you obviously prefer to be out there more?
Well, he's obviously, the answer to your last part, for sure, we want him out there more. But, those guys are rotating, and when they, Travis rotates them in and out. Usually it's, they're, 5 to 7 plays somewhere in there during a 2-minute drive like that. You just gotta platoon them and get them in there fresh. And then when those lead dogs are fresh, you put them back in, so you just gotta do that because those guys are, throwing their fastball every time.
You said we could have a long conversation about when to use defensive timeouts. Have you ever used a defensive timeout just to make sure everybody, takes a breather and you get your best rusher back on the field?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that for sure. That's definitely something that we've done in the past.
With as much as you have invested in Sweat, shouldn't he be out there for more than 39 out of 62? For instance, Hutchinson played like 92% of the Lion snaps. Isn't Sweat that kind of player for you, or isn't he expected?
Sweat's one of our best players. He really is, and that's just how we do it. We platoon our guys and keep them fresh that way. That's how we do it.
Matt, going back to Justin and that conservative play calling in the fourth quarter, you guys have said that part of your evaluation of him is seeing him operate the offense in 2-minute drills, end of game situations. How do you guys get a full evaluation of him as a quarterback if you aren't letting him throw the ball in those clutch situations?
Yeah, I mean, like the last play we talked about, right, with the crosser to DJ and he threw it over top. I mean, that would have been a spectacular play if we connected on that, and we were right there. We just got to do a good job of executing in that moment. And that's what we're talking about as a group, taking accountability is offense, defense, and kicking, about finishing, the right way. And we have to do that.
With the center position, what went into the decision for Feeney to be the guy?
Yeah, so that's really just about prep. You only can prep one center to back up, and Feeney was the guy to do that. And he's obviously has experience at that position. And then Cody was going to back up the guard spot. So we just felt that was the best continuity at the time.
Did the Lucas injury come as a result of the hit he took on? when
Say
they
it again.
thought-
Say it again.
The Patrick injury, the back injury?
Yeah.
Was that on when the Lions thought there was a fumble and they were returning, it looked like he got broadsided pretty good. Is that where he got hurt, and was that a legal block in your opinion?
Yeah, so we're obviously we're looking at that. We'll have the league look at that because the play was blown down, right? And then Lucas was pursuing, and then he ended up getting hit right there, and that's unfortunate. And I talked to the ref about it, and we discussed it, and we'll leave it at that, and then we'll see what they say.
When you look at the 4 field goals you guys had
Yeah.
throughout the game, second quarter, third quarter, and 2 in the fourth, what stands out to you as far as missed opportunities in those cases to get 7 instead of 3?
Really just about executing on the third down. You got to do a good job of getting it on the third down, and if it was in our parameters for that particular part in the game, we were going to go like we did earlier in the game, and then you just got to do a good job of executing on third down. To me, that's what it's all about, and then you end up punching it in there, so, it's always, on offense, when you get a takeaway, from your group, like we did in the second half, you got to score and really do a good job. That's called complementary football. And we got to keep doing that. And I showed the guys the difference between when we're last 7 games, when we were in the plus side of that takeaway margin. I know it didn't work out yesterday, but man, we put ourselves in position because of that. And that's the winning formula that we have to have going forward. And it's important that we protect it, which we did a good job. On T. Scott's, he just got to violently tuck the ball. He took 2 steps without the ball being tucked, and we talked about that today. And we got to keep doing it on defense, and that gives us an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter. Now we just got to finish.
Earlier in the season, we talked to you about just the idea of learning to win.
Yep.
What you guys went through last year. Is that, when you have that lead, are these guys still just, are they lacking, is it the not having enough opportunities with the lead in the fourth quarter, not having opportunities to close games out? These guys don't have that experience as much to know what they need to do, and even coaching staff too, just not being in these situations left, that you still have to kind of learn to win in these situations.
Yeah, and I pointed to the Washington game, and I pointed to the Vegas game. And I know that the opponent we played is a very good opponent. Yesterday, I understand that, but I will say this: that we did finish there, and those are the moments that we did finish the right way. We finished with third down, fourth down stops on defense. We finished with takeaways, scoring on defense at the other side, and also the 4-minute offense. Both things work together, and you got to do a great job on 4-minute offense, and you got to do a great job on that 2-minute defense, and that's sacks and takeaways and into the game on fourth down. So that's what we got to do together.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, man. Thank you.